And now, broadcasting from the jungles of Southeast Asia, it is time for the Ed and Rock Podcast.
All right, I haven't said this in a while. No shit.
I
remember when I used to say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages?
Yeah.
I kind of regret saying all that shit, man.
Especially on this one.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, man.
Not the greatest one.
So welcome again to another episode. Thanks, Whit, again for joining me on the podcast. It's starting to become a routine thing, especially when we are basically not just investigating, but we are dabbling into shit like this, man. And I don't even know where to start, but this is the most bizarre, deep, and most disturbing shit I have ever gotten to know with. I'm not kidding, man. I've heard stories before, especially you and I being in the music industry, and then hearing about actors wanting to be musicians wanting to be actors, and all the young girls that you would see around, and it's like, okay, a lot of this shit was suspect, dude, to be honest with you. So,
well, before we jump into all that, hey man, good to see you, bro. It's been it's been a long time, and
totally, man.
Especially during these crazy, like you said, these crazy times that we're in right now. I mean, it's very rare that I even get out of the house. You know, I got out today, which was kind of cool. I saw some friends and hung out at a pool, which was great. And the last last week, me and the wife, we went to the beach and just got out of the house for a second. But for the most part, it's just we've been in the house. So I think when the subject that we're talking about today, because it's all over social media. But to be honest, I don't think it's around enough. I don't think it's talked about enough in the mainstream media, but on social media, it's talked about so much. So the fact that it's out there and that we're at home and we're just hanging out, and I feel like I'm on social media a little bit more than I should be. You know what I mean? And so I'm diving into this stuff. But when I look at mainstream media, it's just not being talked about enough. So
not at all, man.
It's frustrating that I don't think that it's I don't think that it's the big enough story that it should be. You know what I mean? I think that more people should be talking about this. I think that a lot of people are talking about the human trafficking, which is a good thing that people are talking about. People are getting more involved, and people are understanding, and people are hearing this stuff and becoming more educated on it. But I mean, just the other day I was driving through Huntington Beach, and there was I think it was a few days ago, that was the human trafficking something day awareness, and there was a bunch of people protesting, and they had the signs up that said, honk, for this and whatever, and it was a lot of becoming aware, awareness of human trafficking. But I still don't see it being on like mainstream media as much as I think it should be, personally. I mean, have you seen it on mainstream at all? Or
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
I have to dig for it. Not on the tube, not on the cable, not on whatever Wi-Fi internet streaming service I have, with the exception of Netflix. For example, Twitter. Twitter is usually my go-to. And of course, yours is IG, and they're kind of like symbiotic in a sense. Only Twitter gives you a little bit more context, because you know what sucks about Instagram? It's all picture-based, and then you have to go through the slides, read the whole context. There's this thing called shadow banning. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Shadow banning?
Shadow banning.
Okay.
And hold on. Hold on. He called me nalgon. You know what nalgon means?
I have no idea.
Man with a big man ass.
A man with a big
Marcus?
Man
Shout
ass?
out to DJ Roca. I don't even know if that's his fucking stage name anymore, but I love the guy. We worked at AT&T together. Good times.
Nice.
But shadow ban. Let me read you the definition of shadow ban. And it's going to kind of piss you off a little bit. So
really? Why is it going to piss me off?
Say, for example, we're bringing into light something like this on the internet. Steel Rod has a big following, right?
Yeah.
And Steel Rod decides, makes the choice to say, we're going to bring awareness to this fucking child pedophilia shit and human trafficking. So you pop out a bunch of links. There's a GoFundMe, there's awareness, there's a hashtag, and you begin to see that Steel Rod's posts are beginning to get shadow banned, quote unquote. And what it is, it's stealth banning. You don't get banned. It's stealth banning. It's ghost banning or comment ghosting. And what it is, it's the act of blocking or partially blocking a user. In this case, it would be the example of Exhibit A, Steel Rod. They block Steel Rod, quote unquote, or their content from an online community so that it will not be readily apparent to the user that they have been banned. In other words, they push it to the end of the line, and it's urgent. It's of great importance. It's high priority content, and is being pushed back, which is really fucking suspect, because if they straight ban you, then oh fuck, no, they're trying to shut me up. They're trying to keep me from exercising my First Amendment
you
right.
down. Like they're basically slowing you down, putting you to the back of the bus.
Yeah. What they're doing is they're locking out the door so you could go the long way to the entrance. And that's exactly what's happening with. Well, that's exactly what happened initially with Jeffrey Epstein.
Mm-hmm.
And now we'll kind of dabble in that. I know a lot of people didn't even know who the fuck this guy was.
Yeah, I didn't.
Exactly. I'm like, This guy was a master narcissist. He was a master manipulator. He was a pedophile. He was a pimp. He was everything dark in a ray of sun, dude. That's what's crazy. He was hidden in plain sight. He was a financier. And rumor has it, this is something you and I probably look into, because we're into entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
He was the reason for the 2008 market crash.
He was the reason for it?
Allegedly, yes.
Okay,
because he was in charge of, as you saw the documentary, for those that haven't seen it, he was what was that? Is it Victoria's Secret, and what was the other company that he was in charge of?
That he was in charge of?
Yeah, he was a financier for them. Like he would manipulate people to be in charge of their money.
Well, I mean,
course, get a piece of it.
I literally, I heard, like a lot of people, I think, I didn't really know who Jeffrey Epstein was until he broke out into the news. I didn't really know about him. Maybe some people did, and maybe I was just naive to it. But I didn't know who he was until he jumped out into the news, and then there was stuff circulating on social media about him, and then there was stuff coming out, especially when he committed suicide. There was there was. I mean, listen, we can have a whole other live stream just about that subject itself. But what are you showing me right here? What is this?
All right. So just to give not only you, but the audience context about what we do know and what we don't know. And there goes Manny. Let's see.
Wow.
Damn.
Manny, why you gotta
on a Monday?
Why
he said on a Monday, motherfucker.
Throw us under the bus like that, man.
Manny, just stay away from Orange County, okay? Stay away from Orange County.
He loves Orange County.
And stay away from Wendy's. Okay, so financier Jeffrey Epstein was arrested last year in July.
Okay.
Everyone, that was a little bit shadow banned. Didn't get really much attention. And he was arrested on charges of sex trafficking and conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking. He was denied bail ahead of his trial. He, quote unquote, died in jail. And his death was officially ruled a suicide, just like George Webb when he accidentally shot himself twice in the back of the head. By the New York City Medical Examiner. So he's a convicted sex offender who previously served 13 months in a Palm Beach County jail, and it was like paradise. If you've seen the fucking, they left his cell door open and all this shit. and he was a high profile motherfucker. He was basically a professional blackmailer, and his former associates included Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and Queen Elizabeth's son, Prince Andrew, who was very spotlighted in the documentary. And as you once told me, he goes, yeah, and the idiot went and did a fucking interview and it backfired on his ass. And then
did you watch that interview?
I did, and it was the most cringeworthy thing I have ever fucking seen.
I mean, there was people like in his corner that were like, why are you doing this? Like, yeah, you don't have, like, stop, like, just don't do this. Like, what exactly? And then he goes in there and he's, see, like, it was not good. It was kind of like when Dennis Rodman had the North Korean interview and they asked him about Kenneth Bay. One day. let me talk. But shout out to my boy Andrew McGinnis. He logged in today finally, but he knows about this shit. Yeah, Prince Andrew is going down, dude. And Manny's asking about Queen Latifah. Well, I don't know, man. It's UNITY if you ask me. Shit. But anyway, fast forward, July 2020. His ex-girlfriend and longtime associate, Ghislaine. I remember we just discovered how to fucking pronounce her goddamn name. Yeah. It's Ghislaine Maxwell. And we'll get into that too. So Adrian, what's up? What did he ask? Do you think TikTok is gonna be banned for sure? Fuck no. No way. I don't know. Well, no. I just saw something today that said that was it Microsoft is trying to buy the American section of TikTok.
Yeah. So apparently TikTok is a big nesting ground for pedophiles. Yeah. And I've seen it firsthand. I'm like, it's a bunch of little girls dancing in bikinis and all this shit. I'm like, oh, my first reaction, because I'm not a fucking pedophile, is like, little girl, how old are you? Like, what the fuck? Like, why are you doing this in the front of the camera? I understand it's all shits and giggles, whatever. I don't even know how to explain it because I'm not really into that aspect of TikTok. I like the conspiracies, I like the information, I like the news. But what did Manny say this time? I have a video of Steel Rod on TikTok. Wow.
Oh, you got to send me that because I don't even have TikTok. So. And it's like the new Snapchat, you ask me, man. I don't know. To be honest, what are we saying here?
September 15th is the cutoff for TikTok to sell the U.S. portion of the company. Oh, yeah, because they do have a U.S. operations part of the company. So, okay, that brought into light. That's cool. And anyway, so last year, July 8th, federal prosecutors charge Epstein with one count of sex trafficking of a minor, one fucking count, Whit. And one count. Yeah. Hey, that's all they got. One. Let me have one rib. I sure am hungry. And one count of conspiracy.
Just pour it in my hand.
That's it. let me have it. And one count of conspiracy to commit sex trafficking. So he pled not guilty on both charges. He was denied bail and remained in jail until August 10th, when several media outlets confirmed that Epstein had died by apparent suicide. But numerous questions still remain about Epstein's life, his crimes, his fortune, some of which could be revealed in the new case with his longtime associate Ghislaine Maxwell, who was arrested just last month. So look at that face, man. Look at him. Look at him, dude. Does he not just... You ever just read people, Whit? Would you even let anyone that's under fucking 12 around this guy, dude?
Here's the thing, man.
Fuck.
There's also pictures of him, like, even further back. When he was still, like... I mean, bottom line is...
The eyes are attached to the brain, Whit. You know that. This is a scientific fact. And they tell a lot about a person. And, man, like, just looking at the guy, it makes me angry, man.
The thing is, too, like, I don't know. I guess I was brought up to... I understand your point of view, for sure. And and I don't
Fucking
really
math teacher.
I can
Get
have
outta
my
here.
own thoughts about what people look like and stuff like that, but at the same time, like shit, people might look at me and be like, wow, look at that dude. uh
No, but
Appearances
you
are
read
deceiving.
differently, man. The minute I met you, I looked right in your eyes. I'm like, this motherfucker is good times. I
See,
like
but that's
this
the
dude.
difference though. That's the difference though, especially like when you look at someone and when you're in their presence, there's a whole lot to go into that. When you just look at a picture of someone, trust me, I am not defending him whatsoever in the
Yeah.
least bit. But what I am saying is that it's difficult to judge a book on its cover like that. Let's just put it that way.
Epstein had a painting of Bill Clinton wearing a dress prominently displayed in his home.
It's actually,
what the fuck?
I know. Did you see that picture?
Yes.
Dude, it was legit crazy, dude.
Oh, so that's a real fucking picture? It's not like
that's a real painting. It's a real painting. It's
dude.
a painting of Bill Clinton in I want to say it's a blue dress.
What
And he's like
fuck?
sitting down with his leg crossed, like it's a legit painting.
This can't be real. Hold on.
To be honest,
Clinton,
no, dude, Google that shit right now.
Epstein
Like, pull it up.
photo.
And to be honest, dude, that's pretty fucking gangster right there.
What the fuck am I looking at, Whit?
That's like if you were to come over my house and I got a picture of you, a painting of you up on my wall.
Is it like a reminder of
you know what? I guess what they were saying in I want to say I was watching it either in something online or something in the documentary. It was basically a reminder of like, I've got you. Like I got so much shit on you that I can do whatever I want. Like it was where did I see that? I wish I knew where I saw that. It was either some YouTube documentaries. Yeah, no bullshit, dude. It's crazy, right? That's fucking crazy.
What the fuck is that? And why is he pointing at the painting?
I have no idea, but I mean, that's some gangster shit right there.
Epstein. Okay, where's that one comment I want to highlight? Epstein was Steel Rod's first base player. Fuck.
Dude, Manny, come on,
I have
Manny.
a picture of Whit twerking. Twerk for work or what?
No, he just has a picture of my license plate. Twerk for work.
What's up, Alex? How's it going?
No,
he said he has dirt on Clinton. Okay.
Yeah. No, so the thing is like this
accomplices have the records and photos of guests having sex. Yeah. What the fuck, dude?
So God, I can't remember if it was the YouTube documentary that I watched or if it was the Netflix one. Even the Netflix one had a lot of great facts in there. But one of them had mentioned something about the painting, and it was basically their reasoning behind it was saying that like that Epstein had so much dirt on him that basically Epstein could do whatever he wanted. Like, hey man, like basically like, hey man, you're my bitch.
Professional blackmail.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then look at this fucking picture.
Yeah. I mean,
why is Donald Trump there, dude?
Come on, man. You don't think that Epstein and Maxwell had friends on both sides of the aisle? Like, you don't think that the top elite is only subject to one side? Like, the top elite is the top elite. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on.
Fucking disturbing, dude. What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying, and that's why, like, I mean, shit. All of us.
So the big highlight here was Prince Andrew because he apparently was raping some of the girls.
It's not even left and right. It's like it's left and right and other countries. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, now you're talking. Now we're talking about Prince Andrew. It's like,
bizarre, dude.
It has nothing to do with just Democrat, Republican, left and right. It has liberal and right. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the top elite. And bottom line is Epstein or Maxwell or whoever, they got dirt on everyone. Like everyone that's above that level, it doesn't matter what side you're on, they got something on you, that's some scary shit, right?
Yeah, I mean, Fox News cropped him out of the photo. They cropped out Trump. That's fucking weird, dude. That's some, I don't know, man. This is something straight out of a fucking movie.
The craziest part.
What the fuck is game theory? What is that?
Game theory?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting, Andrew. Okay, game theory. But fast forward. Now we have this fucking broad, Ghislaine Maxwell. And this is the info I gathered from her. So first, I'll kind of give you a synopsis as to who the fuck she is.
Okay.
And she's the daughter of late British media mogul Robert Maxwell. So that's something I didn't even know. I think he was a big editor in chief or something. Whit's hat is super mega. Hey, man, you know what mega stands for? Mexicans always get across, buddy.
Actually, I can't remember where I bought this. I think it was I went down to
Famous Stars and Straps, Travis Barker's company.
Where'd I go? It was in San Diego. No. It wasn't too long ago. I went down to San Diego. There's what's that aircraft carrier that is a museum now?
You know what I'm talking about, right? It's on a naval base, right?
No, it's right.
Or Air Force Base.
It's gosh,
I know
I
what
can't remember.
you're talking about. I was just in San Diego this weekend. So
I went down there not too long ago, and went down and took a tour of the aircraft carrier, kind of walked around, saw everything, and went up and saw the on the flight deck and saw the different stuff that was going on, and then they were selling some of these, and I liked it. It was green. I like green, so, and it had a American flag on it. I was
like, it's so peaceful.
So I don't know. I like it personally.
I like it. He said you went to a Trump rally. Wow.
I went to
in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Is that where I went?
They only have those rallies in the South, dude. They don't have them here in California.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think way back in 2016, I think they had one here in Costa Mesa.
It was in Orange County.
Yeah. I live here in Huntington Beach, and yeah, I remember I didn't go to it, but
my freedoms.
But I do remember a couple of friends saying that live out that way. They said traffic was out of control and that it was just that everybody had to get shut down because it got a little bit crazy. But I want to say that was back in 2016, maybe something like that.
Yeah, because that's when he was already on the campaign trail to election.
Yeah.
But shit, man. But now reading this stuff just kind of really changes my perspective of all, even more so now, of all politicians that I know about and read about and are very versed in their bullshit, I guess, their art of bullshit. But all right, so fast forward, who the fuck is Ghislaine? So hold on. Usually Andrew's filled with a lot of fucking info. Wait. Whit looks like Chris Stapleton with a shorter beard. Oh shit! Yeah. Andrew, California Republican Party is based in Newport. It is. And then didn't someone get stabbed at that rally? Man, I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of unreported fucking crimes. So
I mean, people get maybe, probably.
I got my shank.
People, trust me. People get stabbed at Steel Rock gigs. I'm just saying.
And it's usually the fucking the cholas that think that they could hang, bro.
Oh man,
Steel Rock.
Maybe.
Oh hell no, let's go to Jack and the Crack. But
what are we talking about again?
Ghislaine Maxwell. So she's a well-connected figure. She is said to have introduced Epstein to many of her wealthy and powerful friends, including Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew, the Duke of York. The Duke was accused in the 2015 court papers of touching a woman at Jeffrey Epstein's U.S. home, although the court subsequently struck out the allegations against him. Oh, that's not surprising shit. And then the Buckingham Palace, remember they issued a statement, and then she was out of the public view since 2016, was arrested at her remote estate in Bradford, New Hampshire on July 2nd. And dude, when they knocked on the fucking door, she jammed, dude. She did not want to open it. That's what I was reading.
Really?
Yeah. So this is the timeline, of course, in 2005. So one of the Epstein alleged victims, age 14, reports him to the police in Palm Beach. But remember, he had the whole Palm Beach Police Department in his fucking payroll. At 2006, Epstein is charged with unlawful sex acts with a minor. 07, a plea deal is struck. Instead of facing federal sex trafficking charges, Epstein pleads guilty to 2 charges of soliciting prostitution, including with a minor. In other states, soliciting prostitution illegally, like in Vegas without a permit, apparently, is like a $400 fine. It's a slap in the wrist, dude.
So back up a second. So in 2006, he gets charged with unlawful sex with a minor. So
yeah, he gets charged, not convicted, though.
No, he gets charged with, hey, you had sex with a minor. Yes. And then, so basically, a year later, after a year's worth of, hey, my lawyers talk to your lawyers and let's figure everything out. After that, they plea it down to, what is it?
It's
guilty of 2 charges of soliciting prostitution, including with the minors.
Solicitation. So they basically found evidence saying, okay, we know you fucked a fucking minor, but we're gonna make a deal with you. And that's the part of the documentary where they huddle up and they make a fucking deal. But what did Andrew say? Prince Andrew will become the king of England when the queen dies. That is fucking disturbing, dude. That is fucking disturbing. So he gets an 18-month sentence because of that.
When I wonder what he should have gotten if the charges of unlawful sex with a minor would have stuck.
He probably I think it's 30 to 50 or more, depending on the prosecution.
Okay, so he gets caught with some dirt and then for a year, the lawyers bang it out and they drop the charges to slap on the wrist. So his slap on the wrist is 18-month sentence.
A year and 6 months, and he's out. And he's out by fucking late 20, mid 2010 or early 2010. Yeah. And dude, okay, so then there's more. There's 8 years of more shit, dude, because the Miami Herald published an explosive investigation into Epstein, the plea deal, and the dozens of women alleging abuse. Yeah. And then fast forward, last year he gets arrested again, accused of sex trafficking of underage girls of over a number of years, and then he dies. And then Ghislaine gets arrested this last month. Mm-hmm. She pleads not guilty, and now look at all the shit I found on her, dude. There's a lot, man. Dude, there's a lot. She was denied bail. The court documents that were just released.
I sent you
2,000 fucking pages.
It's like 2,000 pages. I'm like, how are we supposed to go through this? Like,
you're like, y'all got a Cliff Notes version of this? PDF?
Y'all got a Cliff Notes version?
Like, I just want to do the reading, but I don't want to do the reading. You know what I'm saying?
To be honest, I'm still. I feel like I want to go back through it and I want to look through. I mean, I don't know how well I can skim through 2,000 pages worth of stuff, but I just feel like nobody's doing it right now. You know what I mean? Like nobody is doing the work to go through and I've seen on Instagram and I've seen on Facebook a little bit on Facebook, but I'm very skeptical of anything that I see on Facebook. And
you got to read things thoroughly to kind of really gauge exactly what's happening.
And even on Instagram, I never just take a screenshot picture of something that and look at it and take it as gold. Like definitely I look through it to see if there's a underlying source behind it. But for the most part, to be honest, I find more legitimacy to Instagram than I do to Facebook, which is sad. To be honest, it's just sad because Facebook should be a place, a platform where everybody can share, ideas, opinions, but also facts. And the problem is when facts are not being shown. It's like, how is anybody supposed to get how's anybody supposed to get a good idea of what's really happening? When you have to question everything that is being put up, it's almost exhausting you see a video. And the problem is everybody shares it. You got like 1,000 people sharing something just off of what the headline says, not the content of what the what the article says. So people will look at the headline and they're like, ooh, that's scary, share. And then, 1 million people see this thing, and is it true? Is it not? The person who shared it, did they do their due diligence? I don't know, you know. So that's the hard part right now is that everything I see on, so I'm really trying to police myself on
and you very well should. What I agree with you 100%. And the reason for that is it's turned all of us into uber skeptics. Right? And that's the internet's fault, because it's the wild west, and you know that's why a lot of people try to begin to regulate this stuff, but it's almost impossible to regulate something that's pretty that's where, you know, net neutrality kind of you know, was kind of about to fuck things up, but you know, everything got overturned, even though it still kind of lurks in the shadows there. Hi, Christina. How you doing?
Hey, how are you, Christina? Good to see you. I wish that we could see you in person.
I know.
Hopefully someday Steel Rod will get a gig. That'd be
someday.
Awesome.
But yeah, so Ghislaine is basically being charged with the same type of fucking, you know, she's an accomplice, dude. And this is what I was going to read to you. When the feds came and arrest her on the morning of July 2nd at her property in New Hampshire, they had to break through the locked gate, dude. They had to break through the gate. They approached the front door. You know, they announced themselves and they were telling her to open the door. And they clearly saw her through another side of the window where the agents saw, like, were basically surrounding the property. She ignored the order and she went to another room in the house to go hide.
Wow.
That's fucking suspect, dude. But she's being formally charged with 6 counts, which range from transporting a minor for the purposes of criminal sexual activity and conspiring to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal sex acts. So this stems from the early 90s to the late 90s to early 2000s, man.
Now, is this like, is this basically, are they trying to piggyback stuff from Epstein onto her, or is this all new stuff?
No, I think this is when they raided Epstein's residence last year when he first got arrested. I think this is all the stuff that they're finding, and I'm pretty sure. Remember how in the documentary, the first warrant that they served for his Palm Beach residence, they found all the computers were pretty much missing.
Yeah, is that what they're talking about? Like all these documents?
And I'm almost positive they didn't get the nucleus of this whole shit, because he was a smart motherfucker. He probably hid it somewhere. He put it somewhere in another remote island and he buried it in a ditch somewhere so no one could get it.
So with Maxwell right now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Epstein's the stuff against him. I mean, he killed himself. So that's done. But now are they trying to pin more stuff on her, or are they just going after stuff that, you know, that is like this whole 2,000 page thing that was released?
Yeah.
There was a big, you know, at least there was a big thing like coming up to it. Like people were like, "Oh, it's gonna be released on Thursday, and then it felt like so anticlimactic. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, I don't know. I felt like there was a big buildup, and I was looking forward to it. I'm like, okay, let's see. She's gonna name names. Let's see what's up. Who's at the top? Who's at the top that's hanging out and doing some dirt, and these pedophiles, and like, let's see what's going on. You know, name some names. Let's put it out in the open and let people judge for themselves. And then it just felt so anticlimactic. Like it wasn't, like all of a sudden it wasn't on social media anywhere. Like everybody was talking about something else. You know what I mean? Like
that's part of the shadow banning that I was explaining to you, how it doesn't seem to, it doesn't hold any weight. There's no clout behind it. There's no sense of urgency. This is serious shit, dude. This was an international fucking prostitution, like pedophile ring, dude.
Yeah.
Like, how is this not a pressing issues? And then we'll get into some other shit too with the state of California and Senate Bill 145. But this is fucking, come on, man. How is this not a thing? You know, it happens internationally. It happens in the high schools. It happens in intermediate. It happens in elementary, kindergarten. Dude, like, and now they're claiming that shit like this is not supposed to be criminalized, which I think it's a big crock of fucking shit with.
Yeah,
it's a big crock of shit. Call me ruthless about it, but I think it's 100% fucking tomfoolery, dude.
No, listen. I mean, have you seen some of those? There's ads. I've seen ads on and people posting things on Twitter. Now, I'm not on Twitter, so I guess I'm behind the times on that. But to be honest, I'm kind of glad I'm not on there. Yeah, I just feel like everybody I talk to who talks about Twitter, there's just nothing but negativity on there. So I'm kind of like,
it's a cesspool, dude. It is.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of positivity on there as well.
I believe. I believe
you got to choose your battles wisely.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Because nobody has a fucking profile picture. Everyone has that stupid fucking default egg or whatever they have. And it's fucking it's all bad, dude. Like, well,
but
okay.
So what I'm saying is like, you know, with everybody on Twitter, excuse me, with everybody on Twitter, shit. What was I saying? Oh, wait, I had a point. What did I say? Remind me. What did I just say?
Oh, you were talking about just the quality of content and you know the what's it called the LGBTQP now. I guess that's what you're. Yeah.
I didn't say anything about that.
Oh shit! Okay, I'm gonna blow your mind with this shit. Check this out. LG.
Okay, watch. It's gonna come back in like 5 minutes. I'm gonna jump in and say something.
This is fucking disturbing. So, fuck, man. I don't. Oh, dude, this is really okay. So, hey, Jen, how's it going?
Hey, Jen.
She had years to cover her tracks with evidence, and she still kept it in her house after Epstein died. She's holding on to it for blackmail or something. So, yeah, I think she's a smart bitch too, man. Ghislaine. She's no dummy, dude. She's no fucking spring chicken. She knows how to play this game just as well as Epstein did it. She wouldn't have been an accomplice if she wasn't. So, well, she's like, if y'all motherfuckers are gonna kill me, I'm gonna take the house with me.
I think the scariest part right now is you know, she needs to stay alive. She needs, like, I hate to say it like that, but like
that's why she didn't want to do the term in prison, because she knows she was probably gonna get fucking aced, bro.
But how sad is that like everybody knows it, but nobody that can say something, nobody in power will fucking do anything about it. Like,
nope. Like Mr. Donald Trump said, I wish her well. Dude, I'm not really keeping up with the case. We basically didn't speak for many, many years, and no one was a bigger fan of not speaking to her than me. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. When you go back and you look at all the things that are documented with him and her, you know, photographs, them being together. And I mean, look at the transcript. There were times when I think who was it in the transcript? It was Virginia.
One of the recruiters. Yeah, they're gonna kill her. They're gonna find a way. I agree. I forgot her name, but it was Virginia.
Something.
But nonetheless, dude, when they're trying to regulate and normalize this fucking type of what they call mental illness, I don't even know this is a mental illness, dude. If you ask me, bro, this is some evil shit. Look, this is what I'm talking about. This is Clover gender rights, bro. You want to see this? This is fucking disgusting. Whit, what the fuck is this?
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Okay, yes. I saw on Twitter where some people they were trying to legitimize like pedophilia, saying that it's a sexual orientation, and I'm like, I don't have kids, but
trans age? What the fuck?
I don't understand this, and to be honest, I don't want to try to like. This
is infuriating, bro. It is, because look, it's like Clover gender rights. Clover gender are children trapped in the physical bodies of adults. We are campaigning for the awareness for our rights. Join the fight.
This is difficult to talk about, man.
It's a dating app too, dude.
What? It's a dating app?
I thought this was fake. I went down this rabbit hole, and no, it's not. It's real. No, it's real.
Come on,
they're trying to advocate. Okay, now let's talk about Senate Bill 145. that's where it stems from, dude. So, okay, for those that don't know, Senate Bill 145. This this is what I like about Twitter. Sometimes they do have good cliff notes about different things. So Senator Scott Wiener, whatever the fuck his name is. So this bill, Senate Bill 45 in California, would exempt for mandatory registration under the act a person convicted of certain offenses involving minors if the person is not more than 10 years older than the minor, and if that offense is the only one requiring the person to register. So it protects, for example, it protects a high school kid, and if the girlfriend is 16, for example. So technically the parents could claim, charges against him, but now, like this guy on the comment section clearly said, now a 21-year-old and an 11-year-old, that's where this is exempt. And that's where I don't agree with it.
Not at all.
This is fucking stupid, and I don't know why he passed it. And it passed this year. And there's a lot of shit on this, man.
If it passed, then that situation that you just said about a 21 and an 11-year-old, like that's
correct. That's exactly what's happening, man. It's exactly what's happening, because I don't understand this shit, dude. I don't. It's like, why? I don't know. He's the Scott Wiener's in the Democrat, the I forgot, he's the Senate. Not what, I don't even know what the fuck they're called, dude. But he's from San Francisco. Okay. And like, yeah, this is like fucking disturbing, dude. So it ends blatant discrimination against LGBT young people regarding California's sex offender registry. Man, dude, I don't know what to say about this shit. And now
it's weird, right? I mean, it's just like, it feels, I don't know, it just feels sticky to, like, I don't know, for lack of a better word, like it just feels sticky about this. Like, how do you and dirty, like, how do you talk about this, and how do you justify that? Like,
you don't, man. So, okay, the Clover dating app isn't related. It's an unfortunate coincidence. What is this? Scandinavia? Crazy. Because I think Scandinavia, they have really loose laws with what's it called? Age of consent. I know I know in Florida, I mean, fucking Florida, of course, I think the age of consent is 16.
No shit.
I believe so, man. I believe so.
I didn't know that. I thought that age of the consent was universal for our country. I didn't know it was state by state.
Age of consent in Florida. So the age of consent, okay, they changed it to 16, so it is 16. But can a 16-year-old date a 22-year-old in Florida? This allows a minor who is 16 or 17 to legally consent to sexual activity with someone between the ages of 16 and 23.
Like I said, dude, I am at this point in time and at this point in our society, I'm grateful that I don't have kids right now, because
fuck, dude.
I mean, I'm just saying that because at one point, I'm glad that I don't have to deal with that. At the other point, I have friends, and I'm involved with my friends and my family that have kids that are going to be growing up in these times. That, I mean, shit. When I was growing up, it wasn't about, I don't know, maybe I don't really remember my parents having a talk with me about age of consent. I just remember my parents talking to me about what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad, what's just, and I don't know. I felt like my parents brought me up with some good moral character, Let
me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What, and not to get too personal with your, your
hey, we're here, bro.
Your young sex
bro.
life,
That's
or whatever.
Why we're here, right?
What did you ever, kiss or engage in intimacy, whatever, with an age gap with somebody?
Yeah. With an age gap.
Not like an illegal age gap, but like something that felt like, oh yeah, I'm too old for them, or they're too old for me, stuff like that.
I think no, almost. It scared the shit out of me, actually. So I used to work at so I used to be in a band called Substance A, and okay, I'm not gonna name names on this because
use theoretical names.
Just okay.
Hypothetical names. Sorry.
Hypothetical names. So,
like Jack and Mary.
We were at a bar because that's where we played. We played at a bar. So I'm 22 probably at the time, 21, 22.
Yeah.
And we're in a bar. You can only get in there if you're 21. You got to show your ID. You got to be in there. So there's this girl in there. We'll call her Mary. And she was super hot. And she was she was kind of coming on to me a little bit. So we she got a little bit drunk, and I didn't, talking to her, saying hi, I was trying to make my moves, even though I'm not very suave, I guess. I'm a big dork. I really am. And but I was just trying to impress this girl, and she was really gorgeous. And I almost went in for a kiss. I almost went in for it, but
Old Town Pub.
No, almost very
close.
It was Friar Tuck's in Pomona.
Is it Pomona or Chino?
It was in Pomona. It was on.
That's right.
It's not there anymore. It used to be there. It looked like a big castle, but
yeah.
Anyways, long story short, didn't kiss her. Almost kissed her. Started talking to her for a little bit. Got her number. Started talking, like calling her. This is back when we actually called people instead of texting or or DMing, TikToking. Like, I actually called her to talk to her. And I found out later throughout the conversations, I kept telling her, I said, hey, let me come pick you up. I'd like to take you on a date. I'd like to take you to a bar. I'd like to take you, let's go drinking. Let's go dancing. Let's go something, I wanted to take her out.
Yeah.
And then finally she broke down and told me, she's like, listen, I'm sorry. I can't go to these places. I'm just not, I don't have an ID. And I was like, did you lose your ID? And she was like, no, I'm not 21. And I was like,
iguanas and pico.
And I'm like, how did you get into Friar Tuck's? And she's like, they just didn't card me. And I was like,
oh shit, okay.
And I was like, all right, cool. Well, all right, well,
they shut down.
at least you're almost 21, right? And she goes, no. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, you're 18. And she goes, almost. And I'm like,
almost.
she was 17 years old. She was almost 18. And that just scared the shit out of me, because I remember thinking about that afterwards. And I told her straight up and on the phone, I said, listen, don't ever call me again. This is too weird. This is really too weird. And I'm so glad that I'm so just fortunate that nothing ever happened, because I mean, this is 20 something here, 25 years ago, that those were different times when, like I said, there was no social media, there was no Facebook, or there was no
MySpace and not AOL even Instant Messenger.
Not even MySpace. There was like maybe some AOL chat rooms, like where you would chat with somebody from Yugoslavia or something. But like other than that, that was all you had.
Oh man!
So it was just.
That's so fucking
I'll never forget that. That even after that, I was like, wow, that was so weird that could happen. That I could be taken like that. And I can't even imagine what it's like nowadays. Like, because back then, if that girl who was almost 18 years old looked easily in her 20s, I can only imagine what it's like nowadays. Girls that are 12 and 13 who look like they're in their 20s.
So check this out, and I'm sure it's happened to you plenty of times when we both played in original bands where you get the groupies, right?
Oh yeah.
And there was times I'm like, you know, my bandmates are already having their arm around them, and I'm, hey man, I'm like, not to be a fucking fun buster, bro. I go, but you need to check ID. He's like,
Dude.
no, shit. I'm like, no, dude, trust me.
Yeah.
Fucking check ID, man.
Well,
I go, I can just smell them, dude. Yeah.
That was the only time that I got close to, you know what I mean? It's the only time. AIM.
Yeah. What was your screen name? My screen name was actually Namrock, dude.
My screen name was Shannon Whitney.
Oh my god.
That was my alias.
It was Shannon with an N-N-I-N.
Yeah, Shannon with an N-N-I-N. Shannon Whitney.
Andrew knows what N-I-N means. It's an inside joke.
There was but that was. I'm just grateful that was the. I mean, shit. That was crazy, man. Wow, I haven't even thought about that in a long time. That's an interesting situation that I can't imagine how many people nowadays are getting. I mean, if I got into that situation, way back in the day, and that was close to the cuff right there. I can't imagine what people are going through nowadays, especially with social media being so dominant. You know, with people,
it's a big it's a household staple now. It's like it's almost like it's a new habit. It's a new. Well, it's a new reflex, man. I mean, you can't not pick up your phone when you first wake up in the morning, dude, either to hit your alarm, to snooze your alarm.
Well, you have to be disciplined for that. Like, very disciplined. But like, how crazy is that? Like, I mean, I wonder how many people are falling into, and when we're talking about like Epstein and Maxwell right now, I mean, I wonder how much of social media played into their web. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And this was before like, you know, any of the digitized stuff came along, but I'm pretty sure once it came around, they just like, oh, this is easy. Like we could just lure them in with fucking a Craigslist fucking post. I don't know. And what is this? Who was hosting the Tonight Show when this happened? Damn. That was probably who's before Leno again?
I didn't stay up that late.
I forgot, man, but it was.
I was always working around that time.
It was maybe Leno. I know, man. You're a fucking vampire, dude, for life. But anyway, I mean that's kind of a synopsis right now. It was it Johnny Carson? Shit.
Well, hold on. Let's real
I
quick.
Forgot when. Yeah. Go for it.
No, I was just gonna say let's get back to some of this stuff that we were talking about with Maxwell. And I say Maxwell because I can't pronounce her first name.
It's like Ghislaine. Ghislaine.
I'm sure it's Ghislaine, but I know I'm just for some reason in my head I feel like I'm saying it wrong. So, like
we were pronouncing it Ghislaine for a long time because that's just the American vernacular that we have. So,
did you see there was a video from there's a comedian Andrew Schultz?
Yes.
Did you see that video that he posted? That was so. I thought.
Let me see if I could find it.
If you can, that'd be fantastic. But
is it the one on this whole case?
It was he posted one on this that was taken down, and then he posted another one saying, basically, y'all took this one down. Everything was completely factual. Everything that we said was factual. We didn't knock on nobody, and you took it down. And what I love what he said about it. So the second video is the one that I watched because he basically explained why this one got taken down and then went forward with factual stuff. And then on top of that, he said, okay, now I'm going to speculate. I'm just going to he basically told you like, listen, like these are the facts. And now I'm going to speculate. And he went up because basically the one video that he put up got taken down. Usually when videos get taken down, he gets a message from Facebook or Instagram saying, hey, this is why it was taken down. All of a sudden, it was just gone. Like on Instagram, it was just gone. It just disappeared. Nobody reached out. No
notice, no nothing.
And then on Facebook,
that's a shadow ban, dude.
Yeah. So then on Facebook, no, but actually it was gone. Like it was just taken away. So. And then on Facebook, he actually got in contact with somebody, and he even said that they were really nice, and he said, this is the video, blah blah blah. All of a sudden, when they found out what video it was about, they ghosted him and they bailed. So
wow.
it was,
so this first one up top is the one, of course, from his official YouTube channel.
I think that's the one that I watched. It was on. He had it up on Instagram and on YouTube. It was on the Joe Rogan show. It was.
Let's check this out because no, I don't think I've seen this one, Whit. So.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No, he's one of my favorite comedians.
Ghislaine Maxwell, you dirt foot whore. This week, Ghislaine Maxwell, the accomplice of egg dick pedophile.
Epstein accused of having egg-shaped.
just to let. No, actually, I don't think this is it. Is okay.
This is probably the one that didn't. That he had to re-upload.
There was one that. Okay, well, basically, this is just to let anybody who's watching know. There's a lot of profanity in this. I'm sure if you're watching Ed Namrock,
we're late night, man. Shit.
You're used to it. So, but I mean, we gotta throw the
parental advisory explicit content. Hold on, let me put up that sticker. Shit.
Yeah, you gotta be like, hey, come on, just listen, y'all. This is the Ed Namrock show.
It's there's gonna be some F words. There's gonna be some B words, some C words. But okay, so the context of this video is Ghislaine and Epstein, how deep their pedo connections go. So Andrew Schultz is, of course, a renowned comedian, and he goes by saying that the evil broad Ghislaine Maxwell has finally been arrested, and it's time to give her, Epstein, and everyone that enabled them some bars. Okay, so
I don't think
I think the one you're talking about is the one.
Are you using a internet browser?
Yes.
To show this, can you just go to Instagram and look up Joe Rogan? Because he has it on his Instagram page. If you go there,
and they didn't take it down from his
it's on
Instagram
his page.
page.
And I looked at it literally earlier tonight because I was curious if it was still up.
Oh shit!
If there's any way that if you go to.
By the way, follow me on Instagram and follow Whit on Instagram.
Please.
All right, let's see, Joe.
I'd love to have some friends. It'd be great. I like friends.
Asking for a friend. All right, there's the notorious Joe Rogan. That's how the Brazilians pronounce it.
Now, and then go down just a little bit. It's like three levels down or so.
Let's see. Oh shit! Don't tell me they took it down for him. Oh, there it is. That one.
There it is. Yeah, click on that one, and everybody just listen. Because the thing is, most of this is factual, and then towards the end, he tells you straight up when it's not. This is what I'm speculating, which is interesting. It's just interesting to listen to.
Okay, here we go.
Stop protecting pedophiles. Turn your phone while this video's still up. This week, a presidential candidate said the most short bus, extra SAT time, helmet-headed, drool-dripping, extra chromosome, subbed in the last play of the season shit I've ever heard. No, Kanye, not you. Donald Trump was asked how he felt about pedophile, sex trafficker, and dirt-foot whore Ghislaine Maxwell, and he said out of his bleached asshole of a mouth,
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. But I wish her well.
What a fucking douchebag, man.
What? Of all the things you could wish for the most prolific prepubescent pussy peddler of all time, well shouldn't be one of them. She's trafficked more teens than the Backstreet Boys bus driver. You could wish she stays alive long enough to get justice. You could wish she gets a fake FedEx delivery. You could wish she gets skulled up by Shaq. But wishing her well, what the hell happened to you? Be a real Republican and call her a fucking bitch. Who is this new PC president? Trump, how can you be so harsh on the trans community when you clearly turn yourself from a dick to a pussy? What happened to the president that speaks like a hungover third base coach? That guy was hilarious. He said Rosie O'Donnell was an ugly pig. Omarosa was a crazed low-life dog. And he called the head of the Secret Service Dumbo. That one was good. Trump used to go in. So what the fuck happened? A few years ago, he pushed the death penalty for pedos, and now he's sending salutations. He had the chance to destroy a woman that actually deserves it, and instead, he tucked his dick between his legs and said, I wish you well, you flaccid vegan. And that's not even the worst part. The reporter asked, do you think Ghislaine will turn in Prince Andrew and other powerful men? And he said this.
I don't know the situation with Prince Andrew. Just don't know.
Fucking liar, dude.
Not aware of it? You seemed pretty aware of it 5 years ago.
Don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool.
Donnie, what the fuck is going
Okay, hold
on?
on.
Either you got a case of Biden brain or you're just fucking lying. You know Prince Andrew.
Dude.
So, I mean,
that is so fucking suspect, man.
So, I mean, obviously,
Jesus,
he's very passionate.
I fucking love him, dude.
I think he's a great dude, and he brings up a lot of good points. And one thing, like especially right now with what he's saying right here, literally we're almost 2 minutes in. So the first 2 minutes, he's literally saying, "Okay, you said this, you said this, you said this." One thing that I know about Maxwell, and I'm just gonna keep saying Maxwell, is that every single person that I talk to, whether they are left or right, they are definitely against human trafficking. Everybody I talk to, anyone that I talk with, whether you are a Democrat, Republican, Independent, you don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter. Everybody I talk to is against human trafficking. So this seems like one subject that everyone should get behind, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's just my. I don't think this should be. I don't think this should be a left or right issue. And to be honest, maybe that's why it's not being publicized in the media. Maybe that's why it's not being publicized so much in mainstream media, and it's very rarely being publicized in social media, because this is something that everyone can get behind. And I think that
it should be a nonpartisan issue, man.
I don't even know what that means.
Nonpartisan mean it doesn't favor one side of the pendulum. It doesn't swing heavy on each side. It's like perfectly balanced. Like
so
Republican and Democrat can agree. Like, hey, this is wrong. Yeah, like almost like, oh yeah, Republican and Democrat can agree. Don't eat Tide Pods because they will kill you. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I ate one.
Fun.
I'm just kidding.
I took my base plane to the next level.
Totally just kidding. Never. I don't even have a washer dryer. Like, I live in an apartment.
I wash them old school on the fucking washboard and shit.
I'm at an apartment. I've got, I got the little card that I got to fill up money. Like,
oh, they have cards now? No more quarters?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you.
Wow.
We got a coin shortage, bro.
They have an app.
So anyway, so with what's his name? Andrew? Yeah,
Andrew Schultz. Yeah.
Andrew. So far he's just gone through with what he said, what anybody has said, and
yeah.
So let's move forward with this, because this is where it starts to get good.
Okay, cool. Let's see.
Andrew was on the island boogie boarding a third grader. You know the island was a cesspool, or as the prince called it, a kiddie pool. And you know Maxwell drives a little slow in school zones. So why the fuck are you protecting them? And it's not just Trump. Geraldo Rivera took a break from trying to kill Sonic the Hedgehog to defend Trump's statement. He called Trump brave. You know what's brave? Dr. Rototnik being 70 and shaving your pubes. Speaking of attention whore attorneys, Alan Dershowitz, seen here using Geraldo's pubes for eyebrows, wrote a whole piece defending Ghislaine for The Spectator, which is probably the least of what he did on Epstein's Island. It's not just pedo protecting presidents or pedo protecting political pundits. It's pedo protecting public platforms too. I killed that. Facebook and Instagram, both owned by this cocky-faced billionaire.
All right. Zuckerberg with his fucking
that's crazy what he just said right there. That's crazy what he just said. He was like, it's not just pedo protecting, what is it? Pedo protecting presidents or pedo protecting what do you say? But it's pedo protecting platforms.
Yeah. What's up, Clifford? You just tuned in. Yeah.
Who is that? Yeah. What is that? What upsets me about?
Oh yeah, let me. My old high school friend. I'll just call her Paloma. I don't want to give out her real name, but what upsets me about all of this is how only people that are in the media get semi quote unquote punished by the regular men and women that are committing these same or worse things like incest, having nothing done to them because there's no proof. When there actually is, sometimes it's just fucking. It's like a Native American genocide. Dude, the books are burned and rewritten by the winners. They don't even get a slap in the hand. And you know what? That's a great fucking point, dude. Because not only is this shit happening here, but you've heard about a femicide thing going on in Mexico and in Turkey, right?
No.
They're just killing women by the dozen, man, daily. and it's
Why?
fucking terrifying. I don't know what the objective is, but if you ask me, it's just a form of savagery, man. It's I don't know what the whole. I don't even know what the premise of this whole shit is, dude, or the plot to the fucking horror movie. But Mexico City had a big femicide, still has one. I believe that's why the black and white pictures were surfacing.
Yeah.
And the hashtag said challenge accepted.
Yeah.
It was to basically spotlight the Turkish femicide. But then again, Turkey and Armenia have something going on right now too. So it's all fucked up, man. And quite frankly, man, bottom line is, they're killing people, women. The numbers are through the roof, man. And in Mexico City, it got really, really fucking bad. And it's terrifying, dude. I don't even like, and yeah, like Paloma will highlight this, like, femicides are meant for men to keep control in Mexico. It's like, what control, dude? Like, what are you so self-conscious about that? Like, just like this pedophilia thing, dude. Like, control. We're talking about the platforms protecting. What are you trying to control? Like, what is this? Is it this mental conditioning that we're all fucking talking about? And going back to Andrew's question, I just missed it. He said, who are quote unquote they? Like, when she dies, who pulled her card? And I think it's these motherfuckers that Andrew's talking about. Like, all right, let's keep going because this got good. Yeah. So let's see.
This is where it gets good. Like, and this, when he gets to the part, and he'll even say, like, this is where I'm speculating. But when he gets to that part, I mean, mind blown, bro. Watch.
All right, let's see.
Down our Maxwell and Epstein piece after it reached over 2.5 million views. Facebook, the platform that allows ads that say "Death to America," claimed our piece was bullying. That wasn't bullying. That was stating the facts in a funny way. This is bullying. Zuckerberg, learn to blink, you autistic human toilet swirly. How is your hair less groomed than Geraldo's hog? You've got the charisma of a carton of milk, or as Epstein would call it, Tinder. See the difference? Look, at least Facebook gave us a notification and a reason. Instagram just made the post vanish like the footage of Epstein's cell. This may be hard to believe, but I've had my fair share of posts removed, and every single time I get a notification, never in all my years on Instagram has a post just disappeared. We reached out, and a Facebook representative got back to us and seemed cooperative. But the second she saw which post was removed, she ghosted us like her boss's face. Still no response to this day. The crazy thing is, everything we said in that video was 100% verified. We didn't speculate on any crazy conspiracy theories or unfounded rumors. Facts
Here we go.
only. And they pulled that shit down faster than a training bra in Little St. James. So you know what? Fuck it. Now I'm going to speculate. Here's the shit that makes sense to me, but I can't prove. Let's assume Ghislaine has dirt on everyone. Trump, the Clintons, Democrat and Republican elites, everyone. Now, whoever wins the election has the power to pardon Ghislaine and thus protect themselves. Trump is wishing her well because he wants to send a message to Ghislaine that he's willing to look after her as long as she looks after him. A bureaucratic 69, if you will. And the liberal elites have been dead silent about Ghislaine. Why? Because they also need to stay on her good side. So essentially, this election has the highest stakes. Everyone involved is fighting for their lives. Trump wins, he pardons Ghislaine, she outs the Clintons and their cronies. Biden wins, and the team of puppeteers animating his course pardon Ghislaine, and they out Trump and his cronies. So we have two political parties, not only fighting for control of the White House, they're fighting for control of Ghislaine. But who knows? That's just my fun conspiracy. Look,
crazy, right?
How this all ends, but I truly think it's a pivotal point in American politics, and that's why I'm concerned that platforms like Facebook and Instagram are actively trying to censor factual information regarding the case. If the stakes for this election are this high, we can't afford to have the truth censored. If we want to participate in a fair and just democratic process, we must all have access to the same information, no matter how painful or unsettling it may be. And who knows? I really hope Trump was being sarcastic when he wished Ghislaine well. And I really hope Facebook removed our videos because of a clerical error. And maybe this time next year, we'll have the answers, but only if Ghislaine hangs around, not hangs around like that. You know.
No pun.
Yeah.
Dude.
So, I mean.
That's the one I didn't get to see.
How crazy is that, right? How crazy is that?
Very crazy.
So what's trippy to me is that, like, yeah, he's speculating, and absolutely it's all speculation, but damn, bro, like, makes you think, and now I'm not one for big conspiracy theories. I'm really not. I think that the American government is corrupt. I think it's been corrupt ever before I was born. But to the extent that it's corrupt nowadays, especially with technology moving so far forward, I think that there was I think, oh wow, how am I gonna parallel this to Marvel? Watch this shit. There was a thing in one of the Marvel movies where I think Iron Man was saying something about how we, our level of like the way that they battle has come so far, so we brought more competition onto us, something like that. That is somehow how, like, with technology, our technology has gone so far, so maybe our government has got corrupt more. Even it makes it easier for them to become more corrupt. I don't know. But no, that is also make sense, a speculation.
No, but it does make sense because it's just like us in Russia, our country. Who's going to have the bigger guns? And I have this conspiracy theory about the children, because the kids are big now. They're getting stronger. They're getting taller. And so are the kids in Russia. And it's like, okay, so it's like, oh, my stick is bigger than yours. And no, I just got a bigger stick.
I mean, it's just kind of crazy to think, like, I mean, and I personally, I enjoy conversations about everything and about all different points of view and walks of life. So when someone like that points out something that's actually, like, very realistic, his speculation, granted it's speculation, but it's totally kind of realistic. You know what I mean? That's the scary part, is that it is realistic. That's wow. That's
like, it's
scary.
not fantasy. It can actually manifest, and it can be true, and it's not incredible. That's for sure. It's totally legit, and it can happen. Just like, I hate to keep fucking sounding like a broken record, dude, but just like Operation Paperclip, for example, man, I talk about this shit all the time. There's also the Gulf of Tonkin. There's also MK Ultra. Like, this shit was actually like fabricated by the government to make sure it actually happened, so it can be put into practice. Because I'll give you an example. MK Ultra, they wanted to program the ultimate soldier. And how did they attempt to do that?
Legit, or are we talking about, like, Marvel?
Yes, MK Ultra. Okay, a lot of the Marvel shit that you see now is basically from, like, for example, Captain America. He came from a tube, right? So a lot of that stemmed from, fighting Nazis and, becoming the quote unquote Winter Soldier, just to kind of paraphrase all that stuff. There had to be an ultimate weapon against the communists, against the socialists, or, the dictators, whatever. And it's disturbing to know that they're getting all of this content from shit that happened for real, man. Like, for example, Operation Paperclip. I think I've told you that before. I did a podcast about it, but just to kind of summarize what Operation Paperclip was: World War II ends, Nazi Germany gets defeated. Guess what 3 countries scream in for the kill? Us, Russia, and the UK. We find their top engineers, their top scientists, and what would be the patriotic thing to do? You would think, kill them too, because they were, conducting experiments on young women and children and men. No, what did we do? We granted them life. And what's it? Werner von Buren, whatever his name is. He's the one that helped. Is it Lyndon B. Johnson? No, Dwight D. Eisenhower. I forget. They were responsible for sending us to the moon. Nazis were responsible for sending us to the moon. They were granted a new life, man. And to this day, they still have big descendants in all of Latin America. And of course, here in the United States, man. That's the shit that I'm like, motherfuckers. That's why they say that this guy George Soros, that supposedly conducts all of these Antifa, BLM, and he funds all of this rioting and looting shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's a descendant of not high-ranking Nazis.
Oh,
Rafa, what's up, man? Here and especially in Argentina, yeah. Paloma said something that's really, really interesting. Let's see.
Rafa.
Why is it not enough for a victim to speak up? Everything a victim brings up is questioned by, is there a paper trail? Absolutely right. When a victim speaks up, they will get swept under the rug or further victimized. And she goes on to say, Whit, was it Mexico's excuse for corruption? They're a world country. I think it's just easier to find the truth about the corruption that has always been happening. DCFS is really used as a ploy for human trafficking. I totally agree with that. I used to believe in the American dream and that justice existed in America. And I have now twice realized there's no justice for victims, especially if they are not white, pedophilic, and charismatic. Hit the nail on the head, man. I can't disagree. And I think you could just add on to that list, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that and then there's the cartels, man. They're probably the biggest network of human trafficking in the entire globe. And they collaborate with humongous I guess other networks of government, and they ain't shit we could do about it sometimes, man. I know it takes a village to kind of stand up to these people, but they're not like mosquitoes, dude. They're not. You can just, swipe them and, go away. They're basically like, they multiply like breeders of pit bulls, man, and they have bad owners, man. That's basically also, the best comparison.
I mean, I don't have any experience with cartels or anything like that. To be honest, I have no idea. Like, I have no idea. The only thing that I can relate to is what I see on Netflix. Like, really, and that's not real, or is it? I don't know.
Yeah. Rafi wants to. He said, "Got to be a way to take in callers." I can send you the link, Rafi. I don't know if you want to join in.
Rafa, you want to join in?
You can do it from your phone, man. I could send you the link right now.
Let me know.
Facebook Messenger. I
was just hanging out with Rafa earlier today. It was good to be outside and be in the company of real people.
Tell me about it, man.
Me and my wife. Okay, don't get me wrong.
Going to join us. Let me send this via Messenger.
I love that guy. He's such a good dude.
Oh, dude! The minute I met him, I mean, him and I are pretty paisa, man. We know it's like we speak the lingo. It's so symbiotic, but at the same token, it's like, we love music. I love, I was a big fan of fucking Dub 8 for a long time, and he showed me kind of like the different side of the great nation of Pico Rivera, I call it. They're just different. It was very stony, man. I never met anyone as chill and as laid back as these group of guys that I met in Pico. Like, shout out to Monchis and George and Gilbert. It was fuck, man. And then then I met you guys, stumbling across with them, and fuck, man, I was like, okay. But then as well as I do, every city has their own dark side, and that's kind of what it's kind of hard to ignore, and you want to acknowledge, but in the same token you want to ignore. I know you did. And it's like, for example, the gangbanging, it's right under your nose. You gotta make a choice. You keep it cordial, you keep it, whatever. You're a musician, you're a resident, there's nothing, volatile of your actions, but you do know who they are, what they're all about. Not all of them are the same, but there's always that risk factor. I understand that. You have a choice. You either stay in and make it work, or you do what you did. You move out. You move out. You seek something better. Now, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
there's this app on the phone called and I'll recommend it to everyone here listening, and those who are interested. It's called it's kind of like a Megan's Law. I don't know if you're familiar with Megan's Law. Ralph, I just sent it to you via Messenger. Yeah, well, Facebook Messenger. I just sent it to him right now.
Okay. So Ralph,
check your DM and just click on it, and then if you want, just put headphones on, or go somewhere quiet and then just join in. You should be able to join us. I'll see you here when you enter the virtual studio, and then we can get it cracking.
That was good.
But Raph brings up a good point, dude. Yeah, there's a lot that does get lost in translation on social media.
There's a lot that gets lost in translation just with text messages. So like, I mean, and that's why
way to communicate.
There's so many times that like everybody texts each other and emails and stuff like that, and like that's why so many people have gotten into fights and lost relationships and lost friendships over text messages, because maybe you might read the text message with a different inflection. So maybe I send you a text message that says, "Hey, what's up?" But you read it because your day, when you woke up, you had a bad day and you're in a bad place, and you're like, you read it and you're like,
definition.
You're like, "Oh, he said, hey, what's up?" And I'm like, what does "what's up" mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you start inventing voices in your head, because I know my friends are guilty of doing that shit, and I'm like, bro, I'm asking you a question. You're hearing my voice when you've heard me upset or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
dude, I'm guilty of it. I'm totally guilty of it. And it's funny because it wasn't until I was in college not too long ago. I was a late bloomer. I started college at 36, and but I
you're like the Van Wilder.
Yeah, I was that dude. You're my boy Blue. I was Blue. But like the cool thing was I took some classes, and I remember taking interpersonal communications, and which is basically the class that teaches you like how to talk with people on a personal level, how to read body language, how to resolve conflicts in a personal community, not so much like public speaking or anything like that, more just like in interpersonal communication. So like when you're talking with your spouse, your girlfriend, your friends, like that type of stuff. And the crazy thing was, the lessons that I learned in that class were stuff. It was interesting because being a late bloomer for college, I learned more from the school of, hey, you got thrown in the fire and you just learned, or you didn't, right? And so there were so many lessons that I learned in my 20s, like Jesus, like, and I learned the hard way because I fucked up so much, but I just kept learning from my mistakes. And then when I went to college and I'm in this class, and they're like, "Oh yeah, so the way you're supposed to communicate is like this." And I'm like, "Oh, that's why that shit didn't work." It was like I already had examples of why it didn't work. And so when I was in the class and learned why it did work, I'm like, "Oh no shit, that's why it fucking didn't work." So one thing that I learned in that class was especially about text messaging and
they cover that stuff, or no?
Well, they did. So my professor, her name was Katie Bruns. She's awesome. She's so awesome.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, she. I follow her on Instagram, and I don't know what she's doing right now. I think she's still teaching, but I don't know how teaching goes. But she is just an incredible person, and I learned so much from her in just that one semester. She's awesome, and there were times that like I would question her on stuff, because I'm that dude that always sat in the front of the room, because hey, I'm paying for this shit and I'm old, so I'm gonna learn. I'm not trying to sit in the back and just skate by with a C. I'm trying to get an A because I'm here in class because I want to learn. I want this knowledge. So I sat in the front and I got to know her, and she's younger than me, so it was interesting that I'm the old guy in class. And I'm like, "What's up?" And she knew her shit. She totally knew her shit. And so we talked a lot about, being able to, how you what is it, like inflection. When we talked about text messaging, it was crazy. The exercises that we went through, and how much you
text
learn.
messaging exercises. That's
Dude,
crazy.
it was stupid. Like how much you learn about this. Like it was incredible. And that's why, like, when it comes to text messaging, like quick messages, cool, okay. But like things that matter, make the call, make the phone call. The problem is nowadays nobody wants to be on the phone, you know.
Exactly.
And the crazy thing is we can FaceTime. How many times have me and you FaceTimed? And just
way
like
too many times. And guess who just joined us?
like,
Speaking of which,
Rafa, ¿cómo estás?
What's up, gentlemen?
with the ceiling fan looking as like a Christ aura behind him. Oh,
I know.
Amen. Dominus Spiritus Santo.
Yeah. Well, to put a little bow on that last part. If you need something is important, so much gets lost in translation as far as especially with text messaging. When you text messages, you read that with your own inflection. So, you know, if it's something important, make the call, communicate with people, get in contact, get in touch with people.
Absolutely.
You know, Rafa
which brings us to Rafa being on the podcast and joining us, because we were, I think where you chimed in, Rafa, was when we were talking about Operation Paperclip.
Yes.
And I know you know about it, and it's crazy shit to know that these so that's where we left that. We're gonna bookmark for to give context to people that are watching. But the other thing that I brought up, Rafa, is have you heard of Megan's Law?
I have, actually. Yes, I have.
So my friend Paloma from high school, she basically stated that the problem with Megan's Law is that there's no one really keeping tabs on sex offenders from state to state, especially when it is incest and the investigation is lost as unfounded because the perpetrator hid from the police investigation. Now, I was talking about the dark side of Pico to Whit, and Whit really doesn't know because he moved out. But Whit, there was some shit going on where there was like a torture chamber in someone's garage, dude.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Yeah,
like
bro.
just recently? Like
maybe like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And that shit was publicized all over. They had a little scam going where they were helping an incarcerated gang member collect unemployment checks, man.
Wow.
Yes, you heard right. It was a system that was nailed down, and you know, no one says anything until the feds or law enforcement gets in, because that's just the risk that you have to, you know, you have to take a vow of silence and not say shit. But you know, if anyone knows better, it's Rafa, because that's the environment that we kind of grew up in. And you know, it's you talk about it, you know, after it happens, but in regards to pedophilia, man, I don't think you're supposed to talk about it after it happens. You're supposed to fucking raise awareness now.
No.
And
yeah. You know, with that thing, brother, like, and you know, I was actually in the shower and I was excited about this conversation because Whit and I were kind of. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay, we were kind of like, I'm over here in the laundry room, dude, because
it looks stunning. I love it. Don't eat tripods, bro.
That's a beautiful laundry room, bro.
Yeah, and I was actually I chimed in early. I was in the shower, dude, and I was you guys were talking about kind of like orientation and gender, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta get in on this. I'm actually taking an anthropology class, Anthropology 114, and we're covering a lot of sex and gender. Yeah, we're covering sex and gender, bro, and it's pretty ironic how current, even though this was written like maybe like within a 2-year frame, how current everything is, dude. And I'm learning a lot more about myself. A couple years back, I took just a quick background on myself. I play music a little bit, you know, like up to you guys. You guys are my biggest influences. You know what I mean? Throw it out there. I'm just letting you guys know, and don't think you're all bad, right?
I'm not, but I appreciate
it. And I'm also on my way scholastically to be an educator. Edgar, you work for a school district. I also work.
Yeah, join the club, man. It's a great thing. It's
right. It's very humbling, dude. Right.
It is.
And and with that being said, you know, a while back, the district that I worked for, you know, I'm trying to move up in the totem pole and the ladder. So, make a long story short, dude, I work in like special education. That's like my forte, right?
Same here, bro. That's you and I.
Yeah. So we're there, and my ultimate goal is to get a credential and a master in counseling, academic counseling. You know, because I really feel that's where my calling is at. But to make a long story short, I'm gonna compress it just to not keep ranting. I took a lot of training in behavioral science, bro, and wow, man,
behavioral science.
Yeah, man, and I learned the different functions in behavior, you know, and not until I took that class, bro, I wasn't able to really understand people. I wasn't able to understand myself. There's certain behaviors that inhibited certain reactions, and I didn't understand them. I just thought, fuck, that's just me. That's how I grew up. You know, we're a product of our environment, if you say, right? But like I told you, Whit, earlier, mental health is wealth, and it's all about choices. You got to make choices.
Absolutely,
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, I don't want to get into like statistics right now because I'm a little fucking woo, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But
we were at the pool earlier today. I get it.
Yeah.
It's good times.
But you know, talking about just, you know, a lot of like abuse and what's going on, you know, man, it was pretty insane when you go into like statistical level. You know, I just got into the podcast pretty profoundly, if you will. You know, that's our new norm, right, bro? And let me tell you, bro, I'm one of your biggest fans, dog. Like, I always see you, and like, I love it. You know,
thanks, man.
And I was listening to the NPR. Every day they have about like maybe 15 minutes of like what's going on around the world. Totally. And I was listening to this past weekend. There was a female talking about how they're talking about equal rights to, especially with individuals with disability. Right, and they were talking about the whole thing. Remember when they had a bunch of individuals that went to Capitol Hill and they were crawling up, right? And and they had their rights. You know what I mean? Fuck, dude. I'm like, I don't want to go on a rant. They had their.
I'm digging it, bro.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Dude. So. Yeah, it was the ADA, the American Disabilities Act, right?
Yeah.
That fought for people with disabilities just because you're in a wheelchair. There was a person that was discriminated. They went to a movie theater and they got discriminated against because they didn't have accommodations. But this is back when in '92 or something like that. Yeah. And they're like, well, wait a minute. This is the Civil Rights Act right here. So. They had a big battle, bro. And they went to Capitol Hill and they fought. But still, bro, on a sociological level, just because policy has been, you know what I mean, brought in, doesn't mean people are going to respect it, dog. There's still,
100%.
There's still that stigma, bro, of people looking at you like, oh, you're in a wheelchair. You know what I mean? We're already going to categorize you as a certain type of individual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sadly to say, dog, you know, with social media, and just kind of to recap what you guys are talking about, social media, bro. Oh my God, bro. People just get lost in that shit, dog. Yeah. And, you know, all of a sudden, 10 years of me being your homie based on something that I might have shared, all of a sudden you hate me.
Dude, how sad is that, bro?
Call me.
How sad is that? Like, I've seen and heard.
We can't hang out and have a beer about it.
I've seen and heard way too many examples of this, of what you're just saying. People that have messaged me, they're like, I've lost like contact with family members over a post. Like I've lost contact with best friends over a viewpoint that I had, or over a comment that I put on something. Like, I mean, how sad is it that we got to a point where if you don't agree with what I believe, then we're like our whole existence together is forfeit, you know?
Yeah.
And that's it's wow. I mean, if it's gotten to that part, I'm really sad for our existence right now because listen, Rafa, I love you, bro, but we might not agree on some things, and that's, to me, that's totally okay. You know, I love you with all my heart. Same thing with you, Edgar. I love you with all my heart.
We disagree on a lot of shit.
We disagree on a lot of shit. But that doesn't mean, like, I mean, bottom line is, dude, like, I'll call you up tomorrow. Like, you come down to Huntington Beach, I'll hang out with you tomorrow. No big deal.
Totally.
It's all good. But like, it's gotten to this point now. I think that with social media has gotten so crazy now that there's an abundance of information, and to the point where it's not even, it doesn't have to be true. That's the problem with social media, is that anything on social media, people just take it to be true, but it doesn't necessarily have to be true. But as long as it's up there, people will like it and share it and comment on it and agree with it or disagree with it and protest it or whatever. And and it's so crazy now that like what you said, Rafa. I mean, best friends are going against each other, man, and that's some craziness, because I didn't grow up in that. Like, I grew up in a time where maybe I'm dating myself. Maybe I'm that guy now. Maybe I'm my dad, where I'm like, back in my day, you know, but
you become the Uncle Rico, man.
Yeah, but seriously though, back in my day when we had, and I'm not that old, so back in my day is not that long ago, and you know, all my homies that are roughly around my age will attest to this. Like, when it gets to the point where if we have a disagreement, we can have a disagreement. No big deal. It's all good. We can have a conversation about it. We can have a debate about it. We can, you know, hey, you can hear my point, I can hear your point. And hey, I love being an open mind to this, because Edgar, you might bring a question to the table that I've never heard before. And how awesome is that for me to hear that? And wow, you might change my viewpoint, or maybe not. Maybe I'll have something to come back, and maybe I might change your viewpoint. But the only way that we can grow and learn is by having that conversation, not by, you know, taking away, not by just, what is that, censoring everything. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm gonna quote one of the most intricate, I guess the most intricate dialogue I heard just recently, and you're gonna laugh at me, but it made a ton of sense. And I was watching the Trolls World Tour movie. I don't know if you guys have watched it. And
wait, the Trolls what?
Yeah, the animated cartoon Trolls World Tour.
Guarantee you right now, I've never seen it.
Okay, so part one is really good. I watched the second one, but the second one, it has, and I'll spoil it for you because it's a beautiful movie. I can watch it probably twice a week if possible. They have this theory where there's 6 strings on a guitar.
Yeah.
Right. Each troll village or troll community or troll city, whatever, they have their own string. What does that signify? Their own culture. Okay. You got 6 strings. What happens when you put all 6 strings together? You get harmony. You get, you know, unity. For them, you know, there's a backstory. I won't go too much into the movie, but they said something that really resonated with me, and it was said by, I believe it was George Clinton.
I can already poke holes in that. Dude. I don't mean to, but like, you know, every string, you know, okay, represents a different culture, right? Yeah. So, but if you go up far enough on the string, there's a note on that string that's the same as the other note on the other culture. Exactly. So if you go up far enough, if you go far enough on one culture, you're going to be the same as the other culture. So
exactly. And that's the Pangean theory that we can later discuss. But what they said is,
this is too deep, bro.
It is, but it said to deny each other's differences is to deny who we truly are. Mm-hmm. And I heard that, I'm like, holy fucking shit! Like, yes. And that made me think, like, okay, like, me and Rod, for example, Rafa, I'll give you an example. You're muted, by the way. You accidentally muted yourself, Rafa. You might want to unmute. Just hit the button. There you go.
You guys are breaking in and out on my end.
It's that potato Wi-Fi you got in Pico, man. That's why. But basically, like, I'm not a Kiss fan. You know, he is, and
Big time.
he rants and raves, and I'm just like, I just never really got into Kiss. Like, he's like, well, why not? And I'm like, because I was a Black Sabbath fan. Like, I liked Black Sabbath better than I liked Kiss for a long time. And he's like, and if I remember correctly, he thinks Megadeth is a lot more musically talented than Metallica. And I'm like, no, I like Metallica more than I like Megadeth. And he thinks I'm crazy for that. And I'm like, I understand, you know, where a lot of this background stems from. And dude, those are conversations I love having with them. But bottom line is we have a common ground, just like you and I, Whit and Rafa. I swear, man, I've had conversations with you about law enforcement. At the time, I was really, really sketchy about smoking weed. And, you know, because I'm like, dude, it's illegal. We shouldn't be doing it. You're like, no, dude, like, instead of popping pills, just fucking smoke a bowl, man. Your headache will go away. You know, you'll kill your hangover a lot faster. But the one thing that Rafa always advocated, as well as all the homies in Pico, is like, hey, but, you know, respect it. Don't get addicted to it. And don't become that hype. You know, because that's when you start getting demonized and people are just going to see you as a fucking drug addict. And same with, you know, with other people in our immediate circle. Like, it's not everyone is the same, dude. I like that. But let me ask both of you this question. If we had someone in the group that got busted for pedophilia, how would we treat them?
Like a pedophile.
Yes. Would they be allowed to come around, Rafa?
Not in my circle.
Think about that. Like, how are we gonna treat those people? And say it's someone like, for example, this just happened to me recently, man. A personal friend of mine that I played in a band with. I won't say his name. He's doing time now for a while. I don't know how much longer he's gonna be in there, but he's there for like 30 years, man. Yeah, I just Rafa's breaking in and out. I guess he didn't pay his internet bill, so. If you want, Rafa, just exit the stream and then come back in, and it might get better. So you should be all right in case it doesn't work. But yeah, I think
you know what, dude. Okay, circling back to I mean, shit, 20 something years ago when I almost got taken by that chick. Mary,
Fuck,
by Mary. I mean, gosh, to me, I think nowadays, like, it comes down to the circumstances of the situation. And the problem is, if you're getting, have you heard of like situations where there's like, I don't agree with this and especially because I'm never been in a situation and I don't have kids anyway. So it's the weirdest thing to even talk about. But like when there's like a 19-year-old guy and an 18-year-old guy and a 17-year-old girl and they're dating, right? I mean, you've heard of that stuff, right? Like, yes. And they're in high school and they're dating, but the dad of the girl wants to charge statutory rape on the dude who's 18 years old. He's like 6 months older than the girl. So like, I mean, to be honest, I've never even tried to jump in on that. I never try to jump in on those conversations because that'll never have anything to do with me right now. Like, right. I mean, I don't have the kids but that's weird right now. Like, and now that it's even past that, what does that say?
Oh, this is interesting. Paloma, like I said, I won't say her real name, but so the Orange County court removed my child from my care for false accusations of kidnapping, but forced me to hand my kid over to an incestuous pedophile every weekend. He's white, I'm Mexican American, all because there's no proof of what happened to this particular child, but Nevada State had found founded a case against him. So they say no proof it didn't happen. The other show that happened to the other child is past. It means nothing. So, with those conversations happen with adults that are willing to grow. Yeah, you're right. Well,
Wait,
we
what?
can be around them. We can be around them if they're castrated. Well, I think she was chiming in as we were talking about having people that in our immediate circle that are accused of pedophilia, and then how we would treat them. And I personally wouldn't see them the same. And quite frankly, I don't know how much respect I would still have for them. And this personal friend of mine too, that's incarcerated now, I can't call him a personal friend anymore, dude. I can't, because the minute I heard what happened, it pissed me off. And then I contacted another band member.
That changes the relationship, like
immediately. Almost instantly.
Yeah.
Even if it's an allegation, it's like, okay, dude, well, why would you even get yourself in that type of mess? Like, what did you do?
But see, this is what I'm talking about. Like what we were talking about, like when I said like the 17, 18-year-old, like, where's the line that you draw? Like, do you draw it between the 17 and 18-year-old, or is it the 21 and 11-year-old, or is it the, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Like, I'll give you an example, and this is just my personal example. When I was 22, 23, I met, girls around Peak or whatever, and there was this one girl that I wound up dating that was 17 going on 18, right? And I was just talking to her. We were messaging each other, and I told her, I'm like, hey, look, on your 18th birthday, maybe I can take you out to go eat or something.
Yeah. And
then we can go from there. I made sure, like, hey, dude, like, I know I'm still young, but I have to play by the rules. That's bottom line.
Yeah.
And a relationship came out of it, but that's different, because, the maturity issue, the maturity gap between male and female is pretty significant. I've seen, like, I've noticed now that I reflect on it, an 18-year-old female is probably the equivalent of the maturity level of a 21-year-old male. Only because life permits that too, because of, puberty and, menstrual cycles and hormonal changes and shit like that.
Do you think that that's like one of the talking points for pedophiles? Like,
I think so. Now that I think about it, because I'm like,
wait
a minute,
right?
I'm not trying to play devil's advocate, dude, because
me neither whatsoever. But I mean, like I said, dude, at the beginning of this show, I like that I can call this a show, but at the beginning of the show, when I said, like, I think my parents brought me up with some good moral character. I think my parents brought me up with some good moral character. They taught me right from wrong. They taught me good from bad. They, and trust me, throughout my whole life, I've gotten into shady predicaments where you get that feeling. You're like,
absolutely, 100%.
I know this is bad. And you have a choice at that. You have a moment right there where you can be like, okay, do I want to do the right thing and walk away? Or do I want to go through with this shady shit? It doesn't matter what it is. It could be whatever, but you get that feeling, and everybody has that fucking feeling. And at least everybody that I know does.
But what happens when they learn? I don't know. This is the part that they're trying to defend here is when they have. It's kind of like what's that one? Like serial killers, they don't have that part of their brain that
maybe that
doesn't feel any empathy or something like that, and it's considered a mental illness. So
even in different countries, they have different ages of consent, right?
Yeah.
So in different countries, pedophilia might be completely different mindset from what we take it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I mean, if the age of consent here is 18 and the age of consent in fucking who gives a fuck is
in Germany,
like, let's say that whatever it's the age of consent is 12. So then for us, that's like, oh my God, you're this is ridiculous. But in that country, it's completely that's the way that they run their lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, so maybe does this have? Here's a question. Does this have to be more of a global conversation?
I think so, because I just Google search age of consent in Germany and it's 14.
So if age of consent is 14 in Germany, then some of
the
the
ranges
stuff.
in culture. Okay.
So if we're talking about stuff in the United States and the age of consent is 18, so if we're talking about something that is in the in the court system, and it's something to do with a 16-year-old girl, if you were to pick up this case and put it in Germany, there'd be no case, right?
No, absolutely not.
Why is that? Is it moral? Is it cultural? Is it geographical? Is it what?
That's a good question, because it reads here that
what's the terminology? Like, what are we going off of? It doesn't seem like we're going off of something that's symbolic throughout the whole world. It seems like it's just.
If you ask me, it has to be on the basis of psychology, man, to be honest with you. Like, it has to be, because emotional maturity is a big fucking deal in general. And if you mean to tell me that fucking Germany's youth is emotionally more mature than, say, for example, Mexico, maybe not. Who knows? Who's the people that are gauging this? And it's probably, hold on, Sonia finally joined in. You're late, but better late than never. She said correct, sociopaths do not have an empathizing factor. She was talking about the serial killers, but frontal lobes are not fully developed until 25. So yeah, your frontal lobe is what makes all the fucking decisions for you. And here it reads that from 16 to 18 in Germany, teenagers need parental permission, either in writing or better parents accompanying their child. Physical violence, including spanking or any part of the body, is illegal in Germany. And the legal age of consent in Germany is 14 if both partners are under 18. Okay, so that's the catch here. Okay. So the age of consent is 18 only if both partners are under 18. So that might be strict in Germany. Then I was probably wrong about that.
That's interesting.
Why is the age of consent in 14 in Germany? If adults and young people do this anyway, they become liable to prosecution. If two children engage in sexual acts with each other, they will not be punished. This is because under German law, children younger than 14 have not yet reached the age of criminal responsibility. Interesting.
But if frontal lobes are not fully developed until 25, then
I see where this thing we're talking about, we're spotlighting with the
then how can I
protecting pedophiles might be stemming from their research in other countries.
Wow, dude.
I don't know, man. It's so suspect. I know. Yeah. She said, Paloma said that the WHO weighs in a lot on this thing. And I agree, man. That's crazy, dude. I mean, we really have to find an expert on this shit to really boil down what the fuck, man.
This is so crazy because, shit, we've been talking for almost 2 hours right now. And, granted,
haven't even scratched the surface on this shit, man.
Well, granted, we've gone on our tangents here and there, but for the most part, we've talked mostly about human trafficking, the Maxwell Espin, story that's going on.
You can't even pronounce her name. You're like G Maxwell.
Ghislaine
Guy Kaku El Rodeo.
It's just Maxwell. So, but we've been talking about this. And yes, we've gone on our tangents and stuff, but for the most part, there's so much more to talk about. There's and we've talked about having a moral character. We've talked about we've talked about age of consent. We've talked about so many different aspects of this, and we haven't even scratched the surface on this stuff.
No. In New Guinea, there's a tribe whose boys male to male fellatio as a rite of passage. What the fuck?
Really?
It's crazy because we send kids out to war at 18. I absolutely agree. Still kids, and that's when our frontal lobes are still developing. What's 7 years, 18 to 25? I absolutely agree with that. If you're sending kids to war at 18,
not only that, but you're sending them to war. You're sending them to boot camp where they're
they're conditioned.
in the most in the most what is it called? The you know, you can be conditioned at that time.
Oh, absolutely.
Vulnerable. You're the most vulnerable during those years to be conditioned, and you're being conditioned by the military.
Absolutely.
At 18 years old. So from 18 to 25, you're the most vulnerable at conditioning your brain, and we're throwing you into the military to be conditioned. Like that's pretty. I mean.
Yeah, my longtime friend has been in the military for 20 years now. And he went in at, I think, 19. No, he went in at 20. And I remember him a specific way. And then I remember him coming out of boot camp. And I was like, whoa, who is this guy? Now, as an adult, I'm like, okay, this guy is not the same dude I've known.
But on the other side of that, I've known plenty of my friends that have gone into the military. I mean, my age. Right out of high school, they jumped into the military, and then when they came out, they were fantastic, and to this day, they're fantastic. So
yeah,
I don't know if that, maybe there's more factors that can be, put into that.
It could be a lot, but
I don't think it's just a one factor thing.
ADD and drug use at a young age and then such immature. Yeah, I mean, this Adderall thing is out of control too, and that's something that. I get it, man. Like, dude, we have to do a follow up definitely because there's a lot of this shit we need to cover.
ADD and ADHD. I'm gonna tell you something real quick, dude. This is stupid, dude. So I got a friend of mine. We'll call her Mary. And
Mary.
Yeah. So
with an IE.
Mary was going to school, and she told me one time at one of my shows, she was like, "Hey, I don't know how we started talking about it, but we started talking about ADD meds, and like, what was it, like, Adderall and
Ritalin,
yeah. She's like, I got some Adderall. Like, what's up? You want some? I'm like, I've never tried it. I've never tried it in my life, and what's crazy is that a lot of my family members have they're on their ADD. They've been prescribed it.
Yeah.
And I never went, and I never, even my mom, she told me, she was like, maybe you should just go to the doctor and just see. And she's like, I mean, just go check. And I said, I just don't want to take any more pills. So I'm good. So anyway, long story short, I told this chick, I'm like, you know what? Give me some pills. How much? And she was like, I don't know. She gave me a deal, but I bought a bunch of pills from her, and oh my God, that shit's awesome, bro. Have you ever tried it? Is this shit?
No, but I can't because I'm on high blood pressure medication, but I've had people who are writers, who are musicians, who are basically I know it's demonized because it's the sister component to methamphetamine.
Yeah.
But I have seen it do some miraculous things to people that are I believe dyslexic. They have really bad ADD or ADHD. I'm gonna tell you, like, hey, all drugs should not be banned. There's just specific ones that need to be really strict about acquiring. But if
I'll be honest with you right now, dude, I am not ADD because that shit hit me hard. I am
a machine, dude. That's what it does.
I'm not ADD because I took this ADD medication, and I was up for a minute, but here's the thing though, like, I wasn't like crazy, like I was extremely focused, if that makes sense.
No, I'm telling you, I heard it turns you into a machine.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
So, I mean, at that point, I told my mom after that, I'm like, yeah, Mom, I took some of the meds. Like, it's just, she's like, how'd you get them? I'm like, I got my ways. I live in LA. It's like,
you're like the dark web.
I know people. Like, I'm a musician. Come on. I know people. And she was like, oh, really? So, did you feel normal? And I'm like, hell no, I didn't feel normal.
No, I've heard some crazy, like, I don't even know, like, people cranking out term paper, like 26-page term papers, like in 2 or 3 hours, dude.
I wrote.
Because they're on a roll,
bro. I'm just kidding.
And no. And then for example, playing music or writing stuff in the studio, you know, you would get different people experiment with different things. Oh shit, Joe Mendes is here. Oh my God.
Joe Mendes, what's up, bro? I love that dude, man. He's such a great drummer, and he's an all-around just great guy. Like just a cool dude, man.
I don't know if he's in my personal preference for him. I don't know if he's a better drummer on the 5-piece or a percussionist, dude, because he's a badass percussionist, dude. Latin percussion.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Imagine Joe Mendes on Adderall. Latin percussion. I was like, oh shit.
I think I would have to be on Adderall with him.
Oh, said, look at Ralph said, don't tell me that, homie, because I'm taking a summer course. Okay, look, I'm not going to discourage the use of drugs in general for adults. You know, teenagers, unless it's prescribed and administered by fucking medical staff. But as an adult, pick and choose your battles wisely. I'm fucking, Joe's crying. Look at this. Dude, you see, I'm down. Okay, so here's the thing is, I've seen people do coke and then drink. I've seen people take Adderall and drink, and it's a completely different thing. It's like you're wide awake, alert, drunk.
Well, I've done the first. I've done the former, but I haven't done the latter. Back in my day, I had some fun doing some crazy shit.
Yeah,
but
I seen it.
But like, you know, with I literally, I mean, my dumbass, I took like a half a pill, like literally, I did it in half because I was that careful. I took a half a pill, and I was like, but I was wide awake, bro.
Yeah, man.
Wide awake. I was very focused on everything that I was doing that day.
Yeah,
it was pretty intense.
Shit, we need to have a drug podcast, dude, and just talk about different things, dude.
Are you kidding me, dude? We don't have enough time on the podcast.
No, and we need some crazy stories because all my stories are either alcohol or weed or some type of like, you know, downer or whatever, but they end up being pretty fucking funny. But I have never done psychedelics.
Me neither. Actually, I had the opportunity just recently to do it, but I still haven't. And to be honest, here's some drugs on my list that I haven't done that I want to do. So I'm throwing this out there on the interwebs in case anybody wants to help me out.
Like ayahuasca is one of them.
To be honest, I've never done ecstasy. I've
I
always
had the chance, but I got mad when it was presented to me because I was so demonized.
Really? I've never done it. And I've always wanted to, but I've never done it. So never done ecstasy. And this is probably a regular one is mushrooms. I've never done mushrooms.
I ate some caps and I fell asleep. So I'm like, fuck, man. They're like, they look like little bottle caps from the shroom, like the top of the shroom. And I fell asleep. I felt like it was a waste. I was like, fuck, man. And they taste just like mushrooms, like eating them from a pizza, they're just raw.
See, I've heard so many great stories of people that have done mushrooms, and like
I heard a ton of great stories. That's why I tried them.
Especially as a musician, like I totally want to be like, I'm like, oh man, I totally want that feeling. Like, and
believe it or not, Whit, the ones that are turning me into this stuff are all my veteran friends who have PTSD, who are finding ways to treat their PTSD with MDMA, which is Molly.
Yeah.
And then any LSD and mushrooms and DMT. DMT is the big one.
DMT is I've heard that from a lot of people.
He's like, don't listen to him, Whit.
I'm down.
You know, I feel like such a amateur too, because I've never done coke. Everything I've ever done was just like, pills like Vicodin, Norco, all that stuff. I've never done anything.
Let me ask you this though. So like, okay, now we're changing this whole podcast right now. so when you did like Vicodin or that, like how many pills you take? Like fucking like 10 pills?
No, that's some Brett Favre shit. Hugs, not drugs. Like I would take the most I ever took was like 2. Like I'm not that crazy of a fucking because it hits me pretty hard and
you drink at the time, right?
I remember I would chase it. I would get one, chase it with a Newcastle, and that's just murder for your liver, by the way. And then you would feel the euphoria of the high, and then and then you go back to normal, and then you just got to be careful with it, because I know some people that are almost like overdose accidentally from taking too many and then drinking too much, or just taking too many in general, or these dummies would get the pills and crush them and then snort them. And I'm like, okay, first and foremost, I don't like anything up my nose. I don't even like boogers in my nose, dude. I don't.
And you're not going to be cool with cocaine.
No, I never really had the balls to do it, dude. I never really been like, I'm like, no. And I seen what it did to you one time, and I'm like, oh, dude, like your whole face went numb, dude. I'm like, you can't feel your face.
That one time that you saw me doing cocaine.
Yeah,
that was the last time I ever did cocaine.
Wow, no shit. you must have got the Colombian special, dude, because that turned you into like Pablo Escobar for like 30 minutes, dude.
Dude, I was biting my ear. I was trying to bite my ear. It was really
fuck. But I've never done methamphetamines. I've never done shit, dude. It's always alcohol, pills, or weed. That's all it was. Mm-hmm. Nothing crazy. And my drug of choice is alcohol.
You're talking about pills. You're talking about like you did like 2 pills. Like you remember back in the day, back at Firehouse Grill. Remember that? Okay, we had a waiter. I'm not gonna say his name, but we had a waiter.
His name is Bob.
Bob. And he was a good friend of ours. He's such a cool dude. But that dude had such a problem, man. Like he told me one time that he was popping 35 pills, bro.
Like, yo, dude, what? That's some Kurt Angle shit, man.
Like 2 pills. He's popping like 35 pills. I'm like, Jesus.
In a day?
Like at a time. Like,
dude. Like just grab a whole handful and just go?
Like, there we go.
How is he not dead?
I don't know.
What's benzodiazepine? Is the next. What is that anyway? Benzo. I'm telling you, we gotta have a drug podcast, because this can go on for fucking decades. I say benzo.
I'm just not down with that anymore, though. Like, I mean, okay, I had my fun, right? I did. Okay.
The psychoactive drugs whose core chemical. Okay.
Clean with everybody on the interwebs right now. I had some nose candy like 5 times in my life. Okay. The last time I did it was when Edgar saw me. That was easily 13 years ago. And that was not.
Well, out of curiosity, what's your take on pills? Well, dude, I think, for example, psychoactives, they're bad, man. I've seen people on them. I know someone on them now they're a wreck, dude, and they're normal people. They don't drink, they don't smoke, they're a wreck.
Oh,
they're just a mess. If they don't have them in their system, they're just like, it's all bad, dude. But my take on psychedelics, though, I think, should they be the next cannabis? Maybe. But then you know how cannabis is now. Now it's it's an essential business.
But you also have to have nowadays you gotta have research done on everything. Like,
yeah, and like the potency of weed nowadays is fucking ridiculously high, dude, than when we smoked back in the day, like 20 years ago.
Right.
So who knows? They're gonna have like these fucking, Incredible Hulk fucking on steroids, fucking shrooms and Molly and all this shit. But pills, he's asking pills versus psychedelics. No, I think absolutely psychedelics will be my first choice, only because I've seen what microdosing can do to people, and the effects most of the time is positive. Like, Andrew brings up Xanax. Mm-hmm. I have a problem with people taking that shit, man. I do, because I seen it at the schools with the kids doing it.
What is it?
It's a anti-anxiety medication. So it really just, it makes you like this, dude. Look at my face. You're like this.
Oh,
you're like that, dude. And dude, I'd rather be seen drunk in public than like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if I had to choose one of the two evils.
I'm sure it works for people who need it. The problem is, I think a lot of people who don't need it still take it. Just like me, who I probably don't need an 800 milligram fucking ibuprofen, but I take it, even though I probably only need fucking a 200 milligram.
Oof, and ibuprofen is murder for your stomach. It'll put holes in it, just like Motrin, man.
You know what?
That's why they prescribe opioids over ibuprofen and Motrin, because opioids don't put that dent in your stomach, but it's murder for your liver and all your the rest of your internal organs.
You know
if you're
We're not
addicted to
talking
like
about
this
me
dude.
anymore, okay?
You're like, let's shift the conversation.
We're shifting this. I don't know why we got on this, anyways. We're not
Well, anyway, let's.
the reason why I'm supposed to be taking a whole bunch of ibuprofen. So
Yeah, no, but I mean, in general, I mean, let's for sure. I mean, okay, we got Rafa, we got Joe, we got a bunch of people. We need a coalition of calling out to all the experienced, I guess, drug connoisseurs.
yeah,
alcohol included. You can we can include alcoholics, because me and Whit. I mean, I'm an alcoholic. So are you? Actually, no. I don't drink during the week. I make up for it in the weekend. So that's kind of my binge problem. Not afraid to admit it. So, I think we should have a podcast where everyone kind of contributes stories to the show, and calling out to all the awesome stories that you might have had. I know Whit's got a couple. I have a ton.
Scary as fuck right there.
So let's set that up for sure. We've gone on
to put a nice little red bow on this. Epstein didn't kill himself.
Hold on, let me put that on a ticker real quick. Hold on.
Be on the ticker.
And that's probably going to be the running theme from now on. So let's see. Epstein didn't kill himself.
Boom.
Banner. And then we're going to do this right now. That's going to stay on there at the end of each show.
You know what? I think this whole thing with Maxwell is just, it's not being talked about enough. And
it's not.
And the fact that there's 2,000 pages that were released like 3 days ago and nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, this is out of control that nobody's talking about this shit. So
now it's our duty, our civil duty and responsibility to not forget about this and bring it to light, and also talk about other related shit that I'm with you on this one when you say this shit cannot be ignored. It can't be swept under the fucking rug. It has to be brought to attention, because it's just going to be normalized, dude. And that's not a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, how bad is that? That the fact that, okay, 2,000 pages of this have been released. Names have been named, like names have been named in this. And
then they're just waiting for hardcore proof and evidence to.
Everybody's just moving on to whatever else. Like, this is, and I think one of the major problems is that the people that are in power that can make a difference are not speaking up. I mean,
exactly.
Me and you, we can speak up, but who are we? You know,
exactly. Who's even Andrew Scholes? Like, he's speculating and actually, making these videos for his audience.
Me and you, we're like, we're just regular dudes having a podcast with our friends, and people are chiming in, and we're all talking about good stuff, and we all have great points, and we, I love that we have a good conversation with people that are commenting, and me and you and friends that are commenting in, but like, on the real, what's going to get done? Unless people that can make it, people that are in power, people that are in office, people that have the capability of making a difference.
Yeah.
They need to make a difference. The problem is nobody's speaking up. Nobody's making a difference. Nobody's doing shit.
And we have to press on the fact that it's like I called it earlier, it's a non-partisan issue. And what non-partisan means is it's both the Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative. They all must agree on this is wrong.
That's the most beautiful
wrong.
thing about this, is that it's not about like, oh, well, you're on the left and you believe this, but you're on the right and you believe this. No, this is just right and wrong. Like, this is, we need everybody. It doesn't matter what side you're on. It doesn't matter what you believe. This is fucking wrong. And
just like murder, man. Murder in the first degree and second, third.
It's burning me out, man. Like, the fact that I'm not seeing this, the fact that I'm not seeing more of this in mainstream media is burning me out. Like, why is this not the top headline? Why not? Why? Like,
and Rafa brings up a good point. How do we move forward? Well, there needs to be a call to action, and that's something that I've learned during my retail years when I worked at these major corporations. And I'll take an example from their book. Like, okay, if there's, for example, a location that's not superseding their goals, they're not superseding their quotas, you take that same aspect and you apply it to an issue such as this one. Mm-hmm. And what do? Well, you promote it. You make the phone calls, you write the letters, you go to the media, you are so fucking persistent until you get what you want, just like a crackhead to get his fucking fix. That's exactly what needs to happen. And everyone conspires with, oh yeah, you can't talk about this shit because you'll get killed. Well, why are they trying to kill people that are speaking up in the first place? Don't you think something's up? It's like, dude, no, fuck that. And quite frankly, man, this shit has been going on for too damn long. I didn't realize how big of a fucking business it is. And I understand why the powers that be don't say shit. It's like, it's so, yeah, I know they get pummeled on the street. Like in Mexico, dude, you come out and actually speak about this shit. They make the cops do the dirty work, man. It's so fucking stupid. It's like, all right, dude, like, but that's a lot of civil war start, man. Like, I hate to say it, but here it's different. We can raise more awareness and give it more attention and see where see how the media just kind of like persuades and shadow bans things like this, because it's happening to major influencers now. And people are asking them questions and they're digging into their accounts to find things that they're trying to uncover. And quite frankly, man, that's why, like I told you at the beginning of the podcast, it gets pushed back to the end of the line. Yeah. That's the art of shadow banning. So we'll make sure that we don't get fucking shadow banned. So see, Dr. Michael Baden performed the autopsy on JFK, MLK, Jeffrey Epstein, and George Floyd. That is absolutely 100% correct. He's in the pockets of a lot of people, but we'll leave it for another podcast. But any plugs before we go, man? I know we've been on for 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Real, bro. I love you so much, man, and thank you for having me on here.
And I love you, brother.
To exchange ideas and views, and like you said and like I said, we may not agree on everything, and that's okay. But I love the fact that we have the opportunity to engage and have a conversation.
Absolutely.
I love it, and I look forward to going back through the comments and seeing what people have commented on, because I'm curious what people think. I really am with this topic. It's really touchy. It's really crazy.
It's fucked up.
Maybe some people are more educated than I am or you are, and maybe some people can bring more to the table than we can. So I think it's great. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we love you guys too. We're spreading awareness about this stuff. We're talking about it. We're not afraid to talk about it. That's for sure. But we'll do a follow-up, Whit and I, because we're not going to lose track of this shit. We're going to keep at it because now we have an objective. And maybe in the next podcast, we'll talk more drugs and
when life gives you lemons,
bring out the Patron, bro.
You break out the Patron and you have a margarita.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Whit, thanks again for being on the podcast. Thanks everyone in the comment thread. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Until then, over and out.
All right.